Alright guys, it looks like we are live. Starting the stream, just checking the video works. Come on, give me a thumbs up. Yep, looking good. We got the chat going over here. We got the bike here. Got tools around. I got one camera here, and we can switch to that camera too if we want to. So, got a couple things going on. And today we're going to take this guy, which I have named Hulk since it was built. We're going to take it down to the frame. It is the fork and the shock are going to go into Dirt Labs for a rebuild. The whole bike's going to get cleaned up. The bearings are going to get pressed back in for these pivots. And then I've got some new parts for when it's time to put it back together. I'm pretty excited. Make sure the sound is all working really good. I think it's working. Yeah. We're working. We're getting there. Cool. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take some measurements to make sure I get everything back where it belongs. So let's get that done. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do, put the old shop apron on. If you have a chance to pick one of these up, I suggest it. I've ruined too many clothes. And my wife was like, "You ruined too many clothes." And she kindly got me this awesome shop rack. So, get that. Good to go. All right, so the one important thing, because I don't like drawing on my C-post, is we're going to measure from that arrow down to there, but then also down to this pivot point, just in case I get a different color. So, that is 32 centimeters. So, and then the other thing, I'll show you what I mean, because I've got that silver color on there right now, but it originally came with this nice blue, anodized blue color, but the bolt broke right in there. And if I can get that bolt drilled out, I want to use this again because I like all the blue highlights on this bike. And in fact, that's part of the rebuild, is that we're going to add blue cables as the replacement cables, cable housing and hoses. So I'm going to do another measurement just in case that collar sits in a slightly different place, and I can make sure that this gets built right. So back to you. Yes, I did steal my wife's fabric tape for this. That is 76.5 to the center. 2D lower pivot, 76.5 centimeters. Cool. Where should we start? I think. Well, yeah, just take the wheels off. Let's get it lighter. If you got any questions, throw them in the chat. I will be happy to answer any questions that I know the answers to. And, oh, shoot. Gotta put this back on. I forgot, there's one other thing I was doing. My buddy over at Photo Reynolds set me up with that thing in the corner over there, which I'm about to walk back over to. Hang on. So he set me up with this guy, which along with my camera, allows me to do a time lapse. But instead of it being a static time lapse, it'll move across this track. And because I can't seem to just do things easy, I have to have 3 cameras going and everything else. But that's for the full video that I'll post later on the full build. So let's get these tires off. These are pretty cool wheels, hand built for me by the guys up in Lyons, Colorado, Redstone Cycle Reef. They did some Stans Arch MK3s for me with the was it DT Swiss 240s on there, front and back. I really like them. If you're front range and looking for a good wheel build, those guys do an awesome job, and they support it for the rest of the life of the wheel. So that's been pretty awesome. I had the first one go bad. The rim actually failed, and Stans sent a warranty rim, and then Dave up at Redstone took care of me as far as the rest of it goes. So I was pretty happy about that. All right. Now usually I clean on this bike, but it really, I'll clean the parts when they're all off, basically. So, the back wheel on here. That clicking might get a little old. We'll see. Hopefully not. No, thought I had a goat head there for a sec. All right, so this is that, if you watch my video on replacing your 42 tooth on your SRAM, that's that wolf tooth, that's how it's held up. It's actually done a really good job. I could put a lot more miles on it, but I'm starting to get the ramping lower down in the steel portion. So it's time for this cassette to say good night. So we will take all that apart. We've got that. And let's go ahead and take this chain off. Man, wheels, chain, yeah, chain's next. I don't have one of those tools for breaking chains, so I do the string method. Using some nylon string. If you haven't done that, I think I've got that from probably Seth's Bike Hacks, one of his hack videos. It's pretty decent hack, and it's a really lightweight way to carry a chain, a way to break your chain in your pack. So, yeah. Oh man, sorry guys, I'm quite like the commenters. You turn the bike so it's more centered in the frame instead of off camber. Crocs match the frame. Yeah. My old Inside Crocs. Yeah, you know what? So that camera's set up for the way that bike is now, but I can move the camera. We can try that. Let's try this. You guys ready for a little bumpy ride? Hang on. I didn't want to block the camera, so I was kind of trying to set everything off-centered. Sorry, there's lag in what I'm doing and what's happening. So, oh yeah, how's that? James, that work? Let me know, man. I'm gonna keep working on this chain. Check back on you guys. Yeah, these green Crocs I've had for a while now. They're kind of my my basement shoes because if you couldn't tell, I'm in my basement, and it's like usually anywhere between 60 and 65 degrees down here. That's how the string method works. So wearing shoes kind of saves me a little bit. All right, so I'm getting a whole new drivetrain. So all this drivetrain stuff just kind of gets to go. Let me grab a box for it to go into. I'll just leave it laying around. Thought I had everything planned out, but evidently not. Put that box there. We've got the chain. It's looking pretty good. So, I mean, again, to be honest with you guys, there's nothing really wrong. The only thing that needs replacing because of wear right now is the cassette. But I'm ready to go to 12 speed. I've had this 11 speed setup since, when has it been? Man, 2.5 years, probably about 5,000 miles on it. So it's the second cassette, maybe the third chainring, original derailleur, original cranks, and then I use these pedals. Yeah. So yeah, everything held up really well. There's technically nothing wrong with it. I just, man, there's another gear out there for me. I want it. So what's next? What's next? Let's pull this cable off. Let's pull some cables off. How many teeth? Started out with a 32 tooth, but when I replaced that 42 tooth in the back, I switched it to a 30 to keep me further down in the cassette, because I wasn't finding myself sort of running out of gears. I do some racing, but I wasn't running out of gears doing it. So in order to move the wear down further into the cassette, I moved it to a 30 in the front. But I'm going to go back to, there we go. We go back to using a 32 on the 12 speed. Man, back cut. Why did I use those? James, what do you have as a setup? I don't know why I didn't use the actual cable cutters the first time. All right, that's that. I need that. What am I doing wrong here, guys? I'm using the wrong tool. That's what I'm doing wrong. Let's use the right tool. Also, let's put some gloves on so that I don't end up like a garbage can by the time we're done. Do you guys use mechanical gloves? Pick these up at the grocery store for like, in this box. 50 gloves, probably $5. And still get dirty, but just saves you a little bit. Sorry, the tools are off camera. Not because I'm ashamed of them. I just had to put them somewhere. That's a T25. Depending on the bike, 30. Nice, yeah. So this is my only mountain bike right now. And that's only because I have a road bike too. So I hope to get a hardtail, and I can't decide if I want it to be a really racy hardtail or if I want to have it to be a park hardtail. And I know Enduro Bro is big in right now, and everybody's probably saying get a park hardtail, but I like to race bikes. I started out doing cross-country races way back in the day, and still do them. In fact, the reason we're doing this now is because I'm going to the 24 Hours in the Old Pueblo race, and I want to have all new setup for that. I also want to have a couple rides on that setup before that. So, man, I need to get the Park Y wrench with the Torx on it. Using these other ones is not as good. All right, let's pull cables out. So this was the second cable I had on here, and I'm replacing it with the same cable for the 12 speed. This is that Jaguar. Heck, what's it called? It's their top of the line mountain cable. I really liked them. They held up really well. They come with really good housing and really good components. Yeah, I've really liked them. So parts you want to go over here. What are you doing? Looking good there. Looking good there. Oops. Hey, how did I do that? Oh, that's a good tip. Thanks, Budget. You say that Harbor Freight has a good box of these gloves. Harbor Freight's a good place for this kind of stuff, where like a nitrite glove is a nitrite glove. There's not a huge change in quality there. So just pick one up, keep yourself clean. There we go. Pivot. I've never had to take the shock out of this pivot, so that'll be a first for tonight. I've always been able to get the cable through the frame without trouble. Hopefully that is not going to jinx me. So where's my compass? There. Right. Okay. Okay. Ah, darn it. All right, I'm going to pull that fairing out of the frame, it looks like. Got stuck in there. Yeah, I feel the same way, James. Like, if I'm going to get a hardtail, I kind of want a racy one. Rather than a enduro one. I feel like if I'm going to do something gnarly, I'll be on this bike. And kind of no reason to pull the rest of this cable out of this shifter. So I'm just going to pull the shifter off the bar. Oh man. That's a bummer. The clamp for the shifter doesn't break So I'm gonna have to pull. I was thinking, oh, I don't have to pull any of this stuff off because I'm not changing it, but I'm changing the shifter. And I run the XT brakes. I like those a lot better than the SRAMs. So, yeah. I guess if I ran the SRAM brakes, I could pair it up. I wouldn't have this problem. Yeah, I'm gonna have to chase that guy off. Bummer. Well, that'll be okay. We'll get to that at some point. All right, so that's the shifter and the cable. Let's go ahead and finish that part out and do the derailleur, which is another T25. Hey, Jordan, what are you doing? Talked to James in the comments, but I haven't talked to Budget Friendly or James, or sorry, James or Jordan. Where are you guys from? Had really good luck with this derailleur and the way it sits in the frame. Knock on wood, I've never bent the derailleur, I've never bent the derailleur hanger. Carry one in my pack, just in case that happens, but Connecticut, awesome. It's kind of late there, but hopefully you'll have to get up early. You can hang out. All right, so that's that. Let's go ahead and finish the drivetrain off with the pedals and cranks. All right, here's always a fun one. Who rides clipless and who rides flats? Oh, man. Have a good night, Jordan. Thanks for stopping by, man. All right, if you are going to lean backwards. You guys know the trick on how to do your pedals? I learned this trick. If you are using an Allen wrench like this, you point the long end towards the direction you want to go. So backwards being to come off or go backwards in time. And forwards to means to go on. So that would tighten it up. And that would loosen. So, everybody has their own little tricks. I don't know if my new cranks come with these washers, but I know they need them. So we're gonna go ahead and save that. I'm putting everything on the table over here that I'm saving. So again, if you wanted to put your cranks on, you do this. So you're facing forward, you want to go forward. But if you're done with them and you want to just chill out, hang back, point it backwards like that, push down, loosens it up. I was just glad when they switched to these Allen wrench style ones. I've done enough pedal wrench knocks where you punch this ring. It sucks. Let's chat about it over here. Nice. Pedal wrench, huh, Brian? But what I've noticed, Brian, is that a lot of these pedals don't have the slots for pedal wrenches anymore. So like these times, they don't have the slits to do the, what is it, 15 millimeter, I think was the pedal wrench width. So, I don't know, man. I really liked being able to come in from behind and avoid this ring. I mean, I'm sure I could have done it before too, but actually now that I think about it, there's no reason I couldn't do the same thing with a pedal wrench. But, all right. So I ride these Time clips. I really like them. They're not the lightest, but I've ridden Time ATAC pedals for too long, since the 90s, and just can't bring myself to change it up. I've got I got 4 bikes that I have to put pedals on, and that means changing up all those pedals if I want to change the like switch over to Cook or Shimano or whatever to a different standard, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I've been sticking with them. I like them for the most part. I just found out I can send them back to get rebuilt. So I'm pretty psyched on that because they're not cheap. It's funny, I'm getting rid of all this gear, but I still take care of it. So I didn't put shock boots on these. I should have. It was like right when shock boots were coming out. And you can see they took quite a few dings, but man, they held up. This is like the ugliest part, as this protective skin started to peel off. But it's like 5,000 miles and quite a few knocks, so they held up. Same with this guy. Took quite a few knocks, but never really any bad hits. At some point I should probably try to, well, all these parts are going to go into a parts recovery area because my wife's bike still uses an 11-speed tram setup. So that's now her her spare parts bin. Okay, so that's the drivetrain off. Interesting. Wash it up over there. Yeah, that's everything. I guess I didn't talk about it. I built this bike from a frame kit in 2015. Kind of saved up, bought the frame and fork as a kit, and then bought each part. So I've pretty much picked out all the parts that I wanted on here. I might get a new bottom bracket. I wasn't planning on it because I didn't think I needed it, but there's some grind in there. You know, I'm gonna let the guys over at Sports Garage take a look at that and give me a second opinion on that. But it feels like that might be ready for a new BB. Who's the guy that did Harbor Freight? Who's that guy? It was yeah, Budget. Do you get rags at Harbor Freight too? I picked these up at Costco, but I need a new round of rags. Yeah, that one's, I mean, they don't feel awful. Like, they're not loose. But they feel gritty. That might be happening. Yeah. I'm holding off as long as I could because it's a press fit bottom bracket and you don't really want to repress those more than you have to. All right. So that's that. What should we do next, guys? Brake line? That's gonna be messy. But it's gotta get done. So I'm keeping the brakes because they work really well. Don't pull them, Jason. Actually, that reminds me. Let's go ahead and put our brake blocks in. Before we forget, pull the brakes. So I built up my son's bike when he got his, and I had forgot to grab these off of mine, but luckily I remembered for his, and oops, did they just go right in there? I'm gonna get rid of it. There we go. Must have missed the pin or something. Oh. What are you guys drinking tonight? Drinking some tea. I know, it's the rockstar life of tea drinking. Oh man. Ooh, you guys got after something. Nice, Brian. Cover up the old wounds with the new covers. I like it. Hey, Crashing Dad, what's up, man? It is a 429. It's a 429 carbon from it's the 2014 model, and I love it. So it's the equivalent of like the SL now. Yeah, Prestfit is a pain in the butt. Sorry, guys. I can't quite see. I should get a setup where I can see the chat where I'm working. Yeah, Brian, man, I'm with you. If I had a choice, I'd choose threaded. It's not a big enough issue where I'm gonna choose a different frame because of the bottom bracket fit. But I'm with you. It's so much nicer to clean out a threaded bottom bracket. I couldn't tell. Is SRAM's new bottom bracket, is that going to allow us to do a threaded type solution? I haven't done a deep dive on that yet. Has anybody else done a deep dive on that yet? If you have, let me know. I'm going to start taking the, what's next? I mean, we're down to brakes here, guys. Yeah, let's take brakes off. Don't need you anymore. Don't need you. Don't need you. Ooh, stripping your threaded. Yeah, that's a no-go. All right, we'll take these. All right, if I remember, if I was somebody who remembered how to do things, how does, that's right, I threaded it from the bottom up. Yep. And we're replacing the hose, so we can do that again today. Cool, cool. That's what we're gonna do. This is gonna get messy. Pull that. Actually, we get to open a new tool. Yay us. Direct arrows. What did I miss, Brian? All right, I ordered a special tool that I've been avoiding, but since we were doing all this work, I was like, screw it. get her. So. One flare wrench. I've been able to put them on with crescent wrenches, but I think I picked this up for $5 from Excel, and for $5 to not strip these little bolts. Sorry, I'm going to count these threads. 1. All right. Time we get to flash that out. Which is just shy of putting on glasses like an old man. All right, two exposed threads. Both sides? Yeah, cool. That's easy peasy. Oh, your BB cups have arrows. Nice. All right, more notes. Break. Hose. Bolts. Two threads. Now we can get started. All right. This is going to be messy. There's no bags there. All right. So, now that I've got it out, it's probably sticking down. I don't know if you guys can really see, but this piece sticks down about an inch into the hose. So then I cut past that, and I'm able to pull the bolts and the cover off at that point, and then we can backtrack the hose through. I've got a proper hose cutter for the new hose, but that'll do. Ouch. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. All right. And in the interest of not losing things, I'm going to lightly thread that back on. Give that a little pop on. What are you guys doing? Let's go ahead and cut those off just to get them off. Yeah, this was also the last year that they ran, that Pivot ran these cables internally through the top tube like this. The new ones all run externally down this, which I think is what a lot of bikes are doing these days, but I'm not a fan. Just seems like a high exposure area to run your cables. I know internally routed cables are a pain in the butt sometimes, but once you get them, they're so nice. Once you get them dialed. Nice. So that's literally been there for 3 years, or 2.5 years, however long. little smaller. Instead of 3. I got a question for you guys. I'm thinking about taking these stickers off and getting the blue ones that replace them to match the pivot highlights, and then I'm also, all the cables are going to be blue when I'm done. What do you just think about that? I really like blue as the highlight color to this bike. Never get it reskinned. I think I'll get all the areas you see in white on here, I'll get them in blue. But that's a whole different game as far as getting that stuff done. Are you a 3 as well? I think you are. Come on. Ooh. That's a little seized. Nice. There we go. So that's all loose. Nice. Yeah, it does look like an Andes Mint. Yeah, I mean, I routed these internally, James, and I've not had to replace them since. So, yeah, it's a pain in the butt because you have to cut the cable and redo the olive and all that stuff. But, man, it's still worth it when it's in there and it's just perfect. All right, that's too much friction. Scratching stuff up. Anybody get to ride this weekend? I did not get to ride this weekend because I was getting ready for this and had a bunch of kid stuff to do. And, well, to be fair, I didn't get to ride outside. I did my training stuff for the 24-hour race. But no rides for fun. I did one on Friday. We'll let you drain onto this. This is like some of that like shop mat stuff I got on the floor from not Home Depot, from Costco. Thanks for the. Yeah, you like the matching Crocs, guys? I really am not one of those freaks that's like in love with one color. I just happen to have green Crocs and a green bike. And I don't want to stand on a dirty shop floor with socks on. So if you weren't here when we started, the reason I'm taking this apart is because I'm taking it down to the frame. I'm going to take the fork and the shock off, and I'm going to take them up the road to Dirt Labs and have them do a full rebuild on them, get them freshened up. And while they're doing that, I'm going to take the frame into my local bike shop, which is Sports Garage, and they're going to repress the pivot bearings for me and get that tightened up. And basically, we're gonna, you know, freshen up the whole frame. It's kind of a rebirth for the frame. So that's why we're doing this. And then when I come back and we put it back together, it's going to get a 12-speed upgrade and some hot cabling. So pretty exciting stuff. You know what? This was not just on the box, guys. On me. Keep the tail in the box in case it drains. A lot less fluid coming out of it than I thought there would be. Yeah, I don't know about putting stickers on. Dude, Brian, 4 times on the trainer? Nicely done, sir. I only did it once. James, what frame are you waiting on? Oh yeah, let's do that. Come on. There you go. That. Hey, brake fluid in the eyes. Who's excited for me? That was stupid. That one. Skiba. Just finished your sweet spot plan, Brian? Nice. I just finished today my oh, what's the second phase called? Is that the sweet spot one? Man, now you're gonna make me look. James, I'm gonna have to check out that bike when we go ride. I still owe you that ride. Brian, now you got me looking up Trainer Road stuff. I just finished my plan today too. I just finished the Sustained Power Build High Volume plan. And I'm going to go into and do 2 weeks of the mountain bike cross country, or mountain bike, yeah, cross country marathon, whatever the long distance one is. I'm going to do 2 weeks of that and then a recovery week because we are about 4 weeks out from the 24-hour of the Old Pueblo race. And yeah, it's just, that's how that's going to time out this year. So, nice job. Nice budget. Where did you go fat biking? Up in Michigan? I just saw a sick video on that. Is that where you are? Three is too big. Let's try two. Yeah, James, when does your bike show up? I'm thinking I want to get some rides in on this guy before I start driving around to the south on it. Make sure it's all burnt in. Thinking a trip to Color Springs or Canyon City might be in order. Man, I love working on bikes. It's like so therapeutic. I'm sure if I did it for a living, that would be a different story. But man, right now, I find it to be very therapeutic to work on bikes. Actually, there might be one there. Ugh. All right, it's looking pretty good. Man, this is going a lot faster than I thought it was going to. This thing, the time-lapse camera is not going to get anywhere near done. Which is kind of a bummer, but let's see where it goes. What do we got here? Oh, nice. Okay, okay. What do you guys use for trainers? I got a set of rollers just behind the camera, actually. There's Elite, what are they called? Elite Aeron Mags. They're like a resistance roller. They're dumb. They don't have any sort of link to anything, but they provide enough resistance so the power meter can. So I'm not just riding without resistance. How many more times can I say resistance? All right, so, man, brake hoses are off. Yeah, let's pull the handlebars. And let's remember we've got the 3 thin spacers on the bottom and the 1 thick one on top. was holding it all nice because I was afraid it was gonna drop. It didn't, of course. Ah, wow, why are you stuck in there? It's been a long time since you put it up. Do a little tap tap. Nice score on the kicker. Elite Corbo, whatever it is. Is that rollers or is that Elite's fixed wheel trailer? JF Rides. That's what it was. I'm going to talk to them about a custom tune, James. I am not sure what's involved with that, so we will see. I think they need to like meet you at the park and ride with you. So I think it's going to be dependent on having good weather for the park. Oh man, I'm going to have to pop this guy. Oh, you're coming. You're coming. Oh, sure. What you always like to see is somebody hitting their bike. All right. Box 32. Another piece. Nice, those are still feeling really good. And all of that came out as a single piece. That's nice. It was helpful. Well, that's good to know. I mean, if it's reasonable to get the custom tune done, I'm definitely going to do it. Hey, Budget, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by, man. Yeah, I've only considered Dirt Labs because they're up the road and I've heard only good things about them. So I've never been to Push or sent my stuff off to Push. Cool. So heads-up bearings feel really good, which is nice. So maybe the only unknown I have is that bottom bracket bearings, which feel gritty to me. I'm gonna run them by the guys at Sports Garage. That's what I use in Boulder when I need a second opinion, or I don't have time. But they're really good guys over there. All right. You know what? I think we are down to the shock. Okay. JF Rides, I saw that road ride video you did. That was a good edit, man. I was thinking we could put something. We should do a something on that Boulder Denver Turnpike Trail one of these days. A little road biking on that. Oh man. It is legit in there. All right. Oh, yeah. All right, I have an irrational fear about this, but just for safety's sake, I don't need to do anything about it. But wow, Brian, annually. I don't know. Maybe I should be doing it more. My stuff felt really good, and I just. The kind of the thing that kicked this off was I looked up how many miles I put on this, and like I said, it's about 5,000. And the front shock has an issue where there's oil coming up out of the air release valve. So I think the seals between chambers are messed up. So yeah, James, I guess that's what I heard too. Except that this never really felt bad. I mean, that could be like one of those like slow boiled problems, you know? Maybe I'm the frog that's getting slow boiled. But it never felt bad. So alright. Is that piece loose? I think this is actually detached. I just need to push it through. Yeah, like if you wake up one day and it's bad, you probably know why it got bad, right? Like you did something big the day before. But the slow degradation stuff, that's the type of stuff that'll get you. For sure. And I've definitely been bit by that type of thing where it's like, wasn't keeping an eye on it. Like drivetrains, that's a perfect example. Not keeping an eye on your drivetrain, you know, and it's getting worse, and then finally it gets to where the chain is stretched, and you're starting to wear your whole drivetrain in a way that needs to be replaced. Hopefully that's not what their labs tells me this week when I take it in there, that I made a boo-boo. It is not threaded anymore, it's just in there. It is just in there. I think I'm going to get a cloth and a needle nose pliers. Give it a punch. That's another thing I've thought about, Brian, is that I wonder if there is one of the newer shocks that'll fit on this. Trying not to scratch the anodizing, and I did it anyway. Good job, Jason. You do what you do. I need to find out which standard this shock uses, if it's the metric or the other one. Another thing I noticed is that the bushings on this shock need to be replaced. They're getting a little loosey-goosey. Like 3 more hands here. There it goes. There we go. So, go get this rebuilt. This is hilarious. I have not had a ring to set this up with since the probably 6 months in. Somewhere along the way, it disappeared during a ride, and I didn't want to take the shock off just to put a new one on. So I would just use like a dust line as the or a zip tie. I've done a zip tie too. But yeah, there's that. Yeah, Brian, that's a good plan. There's a really good tech manual for this bike. I can probably get the info for a new shock in there. And then pivot is pretty responsive. So yeah, probably the same method I would use. Good call. All right, so that's going back. Here, let me see if I can get on the camera, show you guys what's happening with this front fork in the air chamber. Watch it while I'm doing now. But let's see if I can get it on camera here. Ooh, that lags. There we go. Yeah, so see all that comes out? Pretty sure the seals are shot in there. So, get you rebuilt. The back rebuilt. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. It's been cool. So yeah, if I can get the stickers peeled off here, which looks like one of them is trying to peel off anyway. I'll get that blue version of them on there. I think that'd look tight. All right, I'm gonna do some light cleaning on this boy before I take the seat post off. Since once I take the seat post off, I really have nowhere to clamp to. I'm surprised nobody's giving me crap about a dropper post yet. I'm waiting for it. Come on, wake up. All right, we'll let that work a little while. Work its magic. What a nice, clean white rag to get dirty. Hey James, thanks for stopping by, man. Good night. Stopit.com. Okay. I don't know what that was. All right, man. Thanks for stopping by, Brian. Have a good night. If anybody's left, I do have a dropper post. I had it on here for about 8 months. And I didn't like it when I did use it, and so I stopped using it. And then once I stopped using it, I decided it wasn't even worth having it on anymore. So stop spraying my bike. You making it cry? I don't know what you're talking about. Gotta clean my baby. All right, so we only got a couple people left, but hey, we're gonna get in there. Let's see here, we're gonna finish cleaning this off. Give it kind of a light bath. Just get the dust or the mud from the last ride I did off of it. And then you gotta pull the cassette off of those. I might as well pull the tires off. And we can salvage the sealant from those. I gotta say, I used to take my bike down to the frame more often than I do these days. I think time is catching up with me, for sure. Oh, we missed a fairing. Which is different than missing a ferret. It's a whole different game. All my chatty people went to bed. All right, let's get that fairing out of there. Oh boy. What do I do with that? There we go. Like pulling a splinter out. All right, somebody had to go on timeout. Really? Probably not. Okay. Hmm. I didn't know there were these huge divots in here. You guys can see this. These are big divots where those cable guides were. Yeah. All right, I think I could keep going down the rabbit hole of taking this room apart, but since I'm taking it into the sports garage anyway, and they're the pros, I'm gonna go ahead and let them take these pivot bolts out. Let's see if they can clean in there. No, it's not their job to clean my messes up, but maybe they can get in there and do something. Which means we need to do a couple things else. Alright, so that's it like that. We'll just leave that like that for now. Let's take my chain whip. It's up in the garage, guys. I will be right back. we're back. Left this out in the garage. No. No gloves. All right. What's wrong? Hi. Somebody should have said something. What was I thinking? Huh. Better hooks. Whatever. So, there's another video on here, but this blue ring is from Wolf Tooth, and it wasn't too bad to put on, and it held up pretty good. It probably doubled the life of this cassette, so I was pretty happy with that. Oh. It's like my son is logged on. Hey, Raiden. Alright. Let's take these guys off. I see what I'm doing. Get this bench to work. Hey Alex, how long do I plan on keeping the bike? Probably until it just doesn't suit me anymore. The frame behind it I had for 15 years, and to be fair, I did not ride it that whole 15 years, but I'm not generally one to flip bikes. I know a lot of people do that. We'll buy a bike and then get it dialed in and flip it, but I'm generally one to ride until, find a bike I really like and then ride it until I just can't ride it anymore. So yeah, I'll probably get, I assume maybe another 4 years, at least 4 to 5 years out of this bike. I'm wondering why my son is online and not in bed. I'm going to bed, Raiden. Oh. And no, he's not unsupervised. My wife was just a sweetheart and let me do this tonight. So yeah, as far as keeping the bike goes, I generally keep them for quite a while. But I'll upgrade parts on them. So, like these wheels are upgraded. If you missed when I took them off, I said they're hand built from a guy up in Lyons. He did that for me, and he does a really nice job doing wheel builds up at Redstone Cyclery, and then he supports them for the lifetime of the wheel. So if I'm going to take these up there while the frame's in the shop and get them tuned up, make sure they're all sitting pretty, all that stuff. Just make sure that's not feeling too gritty. Stuff like that. What kind of bike do you ride, Alex? All right. Scott Scale. I have not ridden this Scott. And you know what? I should check them out. One of the things I want to do this summer is demo a bunch of different bikes. Not because I'm too concerned about buying a new one, just because I want to see what is out there. What do they feel like, so I can give people good feedback. Hang on, we're gonna get loud. Or not. Wow. So Scott Scale, I don't know off the top of my head what their lineup looks like. Is that a hardtail or a full sus? And how do you like it? Yeah. Yeah, that's true. The demos around here. Although, isn't there a spring Sedona? Yeah, I mean, it's a trip, so not free. But I think in Sedona in April, maybe. Let's say April. I feel like they do a big. It's not outer bike, but kind of like outer bike. Hardtail race, nice. Yeah, that's probably what I'm more in the market for than anything. Is a hardtail. But we don't need to tell Heather that. All right, I'm going to try and reclaim some of this sealant. How long is the Hulk? Do you mean how old is the Hulk, Raiden? Hulk I built it in 2015. Rocky Mountain Instinct. You know what? My buddy Ian rides a Rocky Mountain full suspension that he really likes. It's a carbon full suspension, and he uses it for his only bike. And he does everything from just going biking with me to bike packing with it and all kinds of stuff. But I can't remember which one of their models it is. Maybe an Element, maybe, I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah. He likes it. He's gotten a lot of miles out of it. I've never ridden the Rocky Mountain. He's a little bit. No, I bet I could ride his bike. Maybe I'll borrow it. Yeah, I mean, I always shoot for the 80% rule, Alex, on aggressive bikes. You know, trying not to target like, oh, well, someday I want to go ride this one huge thing, and buying a bike for that one huge thing. Actually, if you follow Sean over at High Horns, he has a good story about that, where he bought a big 6-inch travel downhill bike, which he ended up parting out and going more of an enduro because he just bought too big of a bike. So I'd like to see a little orange sealant left in there. JF, what do you want to ride, man? That Orbea, that's a good look at too. I'm hoping to demo one of those this spring when I go to Arkansas. And if you guys didn't know, the U.S. distributor for Orbea, they come in to Arkansas. So if you go to Little Rock, you have a better chance of finding them. I was just on Orbea's site the other day, Alex, And man, some of their higher end bikes, they've got a slick deal where you can do custom paint jobs. And man, that is so cool. Also, if you guys don't reclaim your sealant, you are throwing money out the window. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have limited funds, and this stuff is like gold. Yeah, I rode with a guy in the Springs, Alex. Shoot, what was his name? Alan? If you're on the Colorado Springs Facebook riding group, you know who I'm talking about. It's Alan. And he rides a hardtail and rips it up there. But he was also in the market for a full sus. But yeah, those Orbeys are nice. Yeah, you got to save that sealant. Yeah, Alan Tanner, that's him. Yeah, he's a solid guy too. So if you're looking for somebody to ride with, seems like he's almost always up to ride. JF Rides, man, what are we going to do? What are we going to ride? Obviously, Hulk is in no condition for a couple weeks. But we could hit the road bikes. I've got my Allen. Or we can break this bad boy in when I get back. Maybe go down to Canyon City. If it stays dry down there. That's a pretty solid option. What am I doing? I'm taking the tire off. You guys got me thinking about riding. I'm losing my mind. Spaced? Alright, I don't know what that means. You want to do Lookout? You can do Lookout. I haven't done that for a long time. JF, I don't know how much of the long distance road stuff you're into, but one of the rides I want to do this summer is up Mount Evans from the Front Range here. So riding, I was going to ride from my house down 36 to Morrison and sort of get that guy together. So if you'd be interested in that, let me know. I would definitely be into having a partner for that. We could meet in Morrison, ride up through Evergreen, and do that. Yeah, Pocono's usually pretty good until it's not. I went down there once and it was wet. And I'm sure, I bet you probably the next day or day after it was fine. But yeah, I just haven't been to Canyon City yet, so would love to check out both the Royal Gorge trails and then Oil Flats, I think it's called. Right, we meet at the Conoco. Mount Antero. Riding down Mount Antero, where would you... I know there's 14 of the 14ers are legal for riding on, Alex. That's also on my list for this year too, is to maybe do one of those. Do oil well flats in reverse direction. That's good info, man. I saw some intel on Canyon City before this storm came in, this one we're sitting in right now, and it said it was good. So I'll have to see how much they got. My plan right now is to get all the work done to the frame and the fork and the shock this week. And I've already got all the parts for the rebuild. So I think next weekend we'll do another live stream and we'll build it with the new Eagle group set. And we'll put the new blue hosing and cabling on. It'll look really tight. Which means that, what is that? 2 weeks out, then we could go ride. That'd be sick. And I would definitely be chomping at the bit to ride by then. Trail of Gorge. That's good info, thanks. I just saw somebody went there today. I wasn't sure. Although, it's a rim trail, so. My wife likes to ride mountain bikes as well. And so anytime I can find stuff that is near where I'm at, she and I unfortunately are not at the same skill level. So anytime I can find stuff where there's a trail that starts near or at where I'm at with the same or with a skill level that'll match her, I'm pretty psyched. All right, man. Have a good night, JF. Yeah, shoot me an email and we'll set something up. Alex, I've got a trip I need to do down to the Springs too. I've got guys telling me I got to do Ute, and I got to do Palmer, and I got to do one other thing maybe. I can't remember. So I'm definitely going to be hitting that down there. All right, I think we're just about to wrap up here, guys. I'm going to get these tires sort of broken off the rim and get the sealant sucked out of them so they can start drying out. And that's where we're going to call it tonight. What are we at? We're like 2 hours in. Yeah. I got to work in the morning. I'm gonna work my real job. But thanks for hanging out. Those of you who made it through and everybody who hung out earlier. Really appreciate it. It's fun to chill out, have friends while I do work. Sounds like I got some new riding buddies. Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I did that Captain Jack's trail. And that was somewhat steep and loose. I generally like to keep some control though. What's the one that's just off there that's real popular right now? Just saw that there was a booby trap on there, unfortunately. All right. See that sealant? Check. Frame's looking good. Sesame, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I saw that those got booby trapped. That's awful. Hope nobody got hurt. I've not done section 16, no. No, I just did the standard Jack's route. All right, that's going to go up to Lions and get a little Toonie Tune tune. Looking good all around. We could use some new tape. Let's see. Good night, Raiden. Sleep good, buddy. Okay. Nice. Sounds challenging. Sounds like that could be some fun. Daniel's Pass, huh? So section 16 is loose. Is there big drops on it? I lost valve cover. Oh well. Very cool. Nice. I'll have to chase you down one day. All right. I'm going to drop it off the saddle, and that's going to be it. All right, there she is. One deconstructed Hulk. Now she won't sit anywhere. All right, guys. Well, I think that's a good stream. Thanks for sticking around, asking questions. That was fun. And I will see you guys next time. I think in 1 week we're going to build it. Come on back.